Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I have another lens review. This is my beloved and most used lens that I have referred to many times in the past. It is the 18-300 lens from Nikon. It is the DX lens for the APS-C format crop sensor cameras. Let me just quickly note that there is another 18-300 DX Nikon lens out there. So I will put specifics in the description box below as well regarding the two lenses and which one I am talking about. So we're going to talk about who this lens is for and if I think it's worth owning or not. So this is the Nikon DX 18-300 millimeter lens, aperture of 3.5 to 6.3, and it does have vibration reduction. It has a very smooth manual focus ring. It has switches on the side, choosing automatic focus or manual focus and turning the vibration reduction on or off. It also has a lock where you can lock it at 18 millimeters, so you cannot zoom it out. It's especially helpful if you have it hanging on a strap around your neck and you don't want it working its way out gradually on its own. My 70-300 lens used to do that all the time. So you can lock this one in place and it will stay totally zoomed in. The lens does protrude more from the camera body than a lot of other lenses. I've just gotten used to it. And when you fully extend it, it's a lot longer. But when you're not at 300 millimeters, it does zoom back in at a very compact size. I did buy this hood for the lens separately, and I will put a link down in the description box for this hood. That is actually when I realized that there are two different 18-300 millimeter lenses, because I was reading reviews on the hood and someone was saying this hood is only for this lens. If you have the other 18-300 millimeter lens, it's not going to fit. The minimum focusing distance for this lens is 1.6 feet, which I think is very reasonable. It's very average for most lenses, aside from macro lenses, which this is not a macro lens. This is a comparison of the 18-300 next to the 70-300 next to the 18-55. You can see that fully zoomed in, the 70-300 is actually longer, because don't look at the hood on the 18-300. So the 70-300 is actually much longer in this state where it's zoomed back in. And then when you compare the 18-300 and 70-300 fully extended at 300, they are about the exact same length at this point. So let's talk about who this lens is for and what you can use it for. Definitely when you're traveling or walking around, it's lightweight, it's easy to carry, and it's great for getting everything, anything and everything at any moment. If you aren't sure of where you're going and what it's going to be like, what you're going to be shooting exactly, especially distance wise, this is the perfect lens to be able to get it all. I've used this lens for many years for wildlife. You can do vehicles. You could do portraits. I prefer my 35, but you could definitely use this for that. It's at the lower ends of the lens. You could definitely use it for landscape photography. So this is a great lens for doing both landscape and wildlife. You could definitely use it for outdoor sports. It is absolutely my go-to lens for road trips because it is small and compact and it sits on top of my purse right next to me while I'm road tripping. So any travel where you're trying to be minimalistic with your gear and one lens that covers it all, this is the lens. So I'm going to insert some photos here showing you the photos it takes at the 18 millimeter range, at the 100 millimeter range, at the 300 millimeter range. And then I will also show comparisons of this at 18 millimeters versus the kit lens at 18 millimeters. And then at 300 millimeters versus the kit 70-300 kit lens at 300 millimeters. I will add that a lot of people are probably asking, why would you buy this lens when the kit lenses cover 18-300? This came with kit lenses of 18-55 and then 70-300. I have to say that I was constantly switching back and forth between the two lenses to get everything. And then there was honestly and surprisingly a lot of shots that were in that middle range, that 55-70, that I just could not get. And I was really tired of switching lenses. So then I would just pick a lens and go. and I would always be missing shots and regretting that I hadn't brought the other lens. So this lens covered it all, the whole range, and it didn't miss that middle range. And it also focuses so much better than the 70 to 300 lens. It's faster, sharper, quieter, it was just so much better. If you'll notice, the 70 to 300 lens actually has slightly more reach than the 18 to 300 lens does. But the 18 to 300 lens is so much easier to focus that I've always been willing to sacrifice that little bit more reach for the easeability to focus. I love that it has the vibration reduction and you have the on-off switch. So if you're putting it on a tripod, you should always definitely turn that off. This lens is definitely plastic, and I have seen a lot of people complaining about that recently, but I've owned this lens for a lot of years now, and it is still in perfect condition and it has held up well. And that does help reduce the weight of it if you're wearing it on your body and you're out for a long period of time. So looking at the pros and cons, pros, definitely the huge focal range that this lens gives you. The fact that it is so great for travel, having the built-in vibration reduction, and considering the range, it is very lightweight. I weighed the lens, including the hood, but I think the hood is very minimal weight. It was exactly 1 pound, 3.9 ounces. And this is the Nikon D3400, and it weighed exactly 1 pound. So you're looking at 1 pound, 3.9 ounces of it together, hanging around your neck. I have also used this with the cotton carrier harness, which I actually prefer because it just distributes the weight more evenly, whether it's a heavy weight or a light weight. Just the distribution of the weight being so evenly spaced is really nice for me. I really like that. The only con I could think of for this lens is that it is not great in low light. If you have watched my review of my 35mm lens, I do a comparison of this lens with that lens in low light situations, because that's why I bought my 35mm, was for low light situations, and it really does great there. But it points out how this one really does not. So that's the one con to this lens. So who should buy this lens? Anyone that wants like a one-and-all lens, especially if you travel a lot and you're minimalistic, you don't want to be packing a whole bunch of lenses. This is really a great lens. If you're new to photography and you aren't really sure what focal lengths you're looking for exactly, this is a good lens to start with, and then see what you're using the most. And then you could always buy other lenses in the future with that knowledge. I do think this lens is great for both beginner and advanced and pro. It is just a really good lens. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and comment down below if you've used this lens or if you want this lens. And thank you again for joining me. Have a great day and God bless you.